Stepping outside of the box in education is a difficult thing to do. If Rip Van Winkle went to sleep in 1912 and woke up 100 years later, he would recognize that the basics of school hasn't changed. We still have classrooms with teachers who have students who sit in desks and learn math, reading, science, and social studies. This challenge of change is one of the reasons why in 1993 the Wisconsin Charter Program was formed. The charter program permitted public schools to create a school that is free from most state rules and regulations. This flexibility allows charter school leaders to experiment with different instructional theories and innovative techniques. In 2005 and 6, the Medford School District, along with surrounding districts like Abbotsford, Colby, and Rib Lake, formed a consortium and started Medford's charter school, the Rural Virtual Academy, or RVA. The RVA was one of Wisconsin's first elementary virtual charter schools. According to RVA principal Charlie Heckel, the RVA gives parents a great option to the traditional brick-and-mortar school.
The purpose of the school is to provide a public educational option for kids in preschool through grades 8, where parents are looking for an alternative to the brick-and-mortar setting.
RVA assistant and former RVA parent Rebecca Hopkins says one of the challenges of the RVA is the ability to help parents understand what the RVA is.
When I started as a parent, it really took me 6 months to really understand. I don't even get it. It's a charter school, it's public, it's a homeschool, and it takes a long time to wrap your brain around it. And I would say that we spend a lot of energy trying to help people understand, even before they commit to it, what is involved in it. Because I think a lot of times people have ideas that aren't really what's going on here.
And the vast majority of families that we work with aren't pulling their children out of a brick-and-mortar school forever. It's typically for a period of time where they just want to do what's best for their child. And we build relationships with school districts that way, in ensuring that the children that we have can have access to brick-and-mortar programs as well as a virtual learning option at home.
RVA parent Becky Polis, who was interviewed via the internet, has had 2 children go through the RVA.
We did traditional homeschooling. We have an older daughter, Megan, who was in the RVA also for 2 years. And we lived in the Medford area back then. And so we had several friends that had their children in the RVA. And for our kids from traditional homeschooling, it was really a nice bridge to putting them in public school and high school, which was going to be pretty much our plan all along. And so the added accountability, the rigorous Calvert curriculum, and the structure for middle school was something that I really embraced in that transition to high school. So that's how we heard about the RVA, and that's why we decided to use the RVA. We since moved. We're probably 2.5 hours away now over here in Trempealeau County, but we still participate in the RVA because it's such a good program.
Since it began in 2005, the RVA has grown.
When I started 4.5 years ago, the RVA had 14 students. And today we have right around 100. So yes, the RVA is growing, and we have added schools to our consortium of schools. We started with 5, we now have 8. So that has grown the school. But really, I think, in my opinion, what grows the school is that we're doing a good job with kids. And we're making a difference in students' lives, and we're able to adapt what we do is what's best for them.
I would say that the staff of the RVA is outstanding, and that's one of the reasons that we do continue to participate. I don't think I would seek out another virtual school, actually. I love the autonomy that Charlie gives me, and Sarah and all of the staff have been so extremely helpful, and they've been extremely pro-family, which is something that's really important to me. They're not only pro our family and me as medical in the future, but they're pro each one of our individual kids and what their strengths and weaknesses are. And within the curriculum of the RVA, they offer so many different options.
Although RVA has the word virtual in its name, RVA teacher Mark Mann says that the majority of work is still paper and pencil. The reason it is considered virtual is that the RVA students can be virtually anywhere and still be in the RVA, which can present some challenges.
Distance is kind of a barrier. Some of our families, we have South America, we have a family in India, so you have time zones to compete with, so sometimes communication is a little crazy. I'll be up late at night, but for them it's early in the morning. So you have barriers like that if you want to do a web conference or a chat, but Otherwise, they're still kids and they still respond like kids.
RVA student Madeline Polis says the best part of the RVA is the accountability and flexibility.
I like that it's challenging and not just as easy as regular homeschool, and that you actually have some accountability and that you have to get your assignments turned in, but there actually is more of a due date for your assignments, and you can't just kind of do one subject a day, but there's that accountability of getting your school done every day. Kind of wake up when my sister wakes up, and she's public school, so that's usually around 6:30, but I never really get out of bed till 7. And then I eat breakfast, and then I kind of look over my day of school, and I decide what I would like to do first, and usually it's what's easiest, and then I get into the hardest things, and I just kind of finish whenever I finish.
Socially, RVA students get together through email, but they also get a chance to hang out together during social outings.
We do field trips about once a month, physical ones where we go somewhere, and then I also organize virtual field trips where we all go to a room and get a video feed for that. Do that about 3 times this year.
Because we're out of the community, I feel like we lack some of those social experiences, but we got to come up for the Camp 4 Spring Skiing Day, and actually the whole RVA comes to our farm. But I think the RVA offers tons of opportunities for people to get together.
Through the RVA, Medford has allowed teachers to take on a different mindset.
We do a lot with the RVA of offering and tailoring curriculum and offering extra things for kids who need extra help or want extra challenge. And I think there's more of that done, at least for me, because I'm able to do it and work with parents. And the parents will take initiative a lot to do that as well.
All the RVA teachers agreed that teaching in the RVA is the same as traditional school, but different.
The RVA is the same because you're still teaching kids. It's different though because you don't get to see your students every day. And when you do see them, it's not face to face, it's through a computer.
If Rip Van Winkle woke up in the RVA office, he would see that some things have stayed the same. Children still have books, they still do assignments, and they still learn the 3 R's. The difference is that he wouldn't see any students unless he turned on the computer and linked up to a video chat. And he would notice that kids didn't have to do math first hour and reading second hour, but rather, like Madeline, students can choose to do their work in any order, allowing students to take more control over their learning. For Curriculum Connection, I'm Laura Lundy.